This is the story of how I, a shy, invisible guy buried in textbooks, turned into the most popular girl on campus. I know it sounds impossible, but I'm telling you, magic is real. And it can change everything. I was just a regular guy, or at least that's how people saw me. I wasn't bad looking, I studied hard, and I stayed out of trouble. But no one seemed to notice me. I wanted friends, a life outside of my books. I even dreamed of finding a girlfriend someday. But it seemed like every girl only saw me as the nerd. People talked about sports and parties while I sat there, invisible. It was lonely. One day, as I was leaving class, I overheard a couple of students whispering excitedly. They were talking about some ancient spell book hidden in the back of the college library. "I heard it can change your life," one of them said. "Like actually change who you are." The other laughed it off, calling it a dumb rumor. But my curiosity was piqued. That night, the idea of that book gnawed at me. A spell that could change my reality. It sounded ridiculous, but so did my chances of breaking out of my lonely, unnoticed life. I tried to get people to see me, to make friends. But no matter what I did, I was still just that quiet, nerdy guy in the back row. If there was even a chance this spell could work, I had to try. So the next evening, just before the library closed, I snuck in and made my way to the deepest, dustiest section. I searched through countless old, forgotten books, getting more and more desperate. Just as I was about to give up, I found it. The book was massive, with a leather cover engraved in strange, ancient symbols. It was eerie, but something inside me knew this was it. Flipping through the pages, I saw spells written in an old language I couldn't understand. Then I found one called Reality Change. My hands shook as I read the small English text beneath it. For those who wish to be seen, to be known, to have life bend to their desire. That was exactly what I wanted. Taking a deep breath, I whispered the incantation, barely getting the words right. The air around me grew cold, and a thick, swirling green smoke filled the room, wrapping around me like a fog. Suddenly, a strange chill ran through my body. It was like every cell in me was shifting. My hands began to tingle, and then my voice changed, becoming soft, higher-pitched, more feminine. I looked down in shock, watching my fingers grow delicate, nails lengthening and perfectly manicured. My hair cascaded down my shoulders, silky and long. My shirt morphed into a soft, flowy blouse, and my pants tightened, transforming into a fitted skirt. My legs, my arms, my chest, everything about me was becoming a girl. I stumbled back, my heart pounding. My mind felt foggy, new thoughts creeping in, thoughts of fashion, makeup, and boys? I shook my head, trying to hold on to who I was, but the new thoughts kept invading. I could feel myself transforming, not just physically but mentally. The shock was overwhelming, and I rushed out of the library, desperate to escape. When I reached my dorm, I was stunned to find that my entire room had changed. The walls were painted a soft pink, a vanity filled with makeup was in the corner, and clothes I'd never seen before filled the closet. Dresses, heels, jewelry. Posters of pop stars I didn't recognize were on the wall. I was staring at a completely new life. And to my horror, it was as if the old me had never existed. The next morning, I still hoped it had all been a nightmare. But when I looked in the mirror, a pretty, slightly bewildered girl stared back. I put on a simple outfit from the closet, a pair of jeans, a cute top, and some flats, and made my way to class, hoping no one would notice anything different. But they did. The moment I stepped into the classroom, everyone turned to look. I was greeted by smiles, compliments, people calling me by a new name, Elena. Boys who had ignored me before went out of their way to sit near me, ask how my day was, and offer to help with my books. Girls invited me to join their group, asking me about shopping, parties, and makeup tips I barely knew how to answer. I was stunned to realize that everyone saw me as the new it girl, the one who was beautiful, popular, and impossible to ignore. Every day was like living someone else's life. I was no longer invisible. I was the center of attention. The The boys I'd once admired from afar now hung on my every word. I went to my first college party that Friday, surrounded by people who wanted to be around me. I danced, laughed, and was asked out by more than one guy. I had become the girl everyone wanted to be friends with, the girl everyone noticed. And it felt incredible. As the days passed, I slowly adjusted to my new reality. My thoughts became more feminine. My mannerisms naturally shifted. I'd wake up, spend time picking out outfits and chatting about boys with friends. I found myself caring about things I'd never thought about before: makeup, shoes, the latest gossip. My old life, my old dreams, began to feel like a distant memory. But there were moments of confusion, flashes of my old self. I'd see a science textbook and remember my passion for physics, or hear a classmate talking about a subject I used to love, and I'd feel a pang of nostalgia. Part of me wanted to grab the spellbook and undo everything, but another part, the part that was now known as Elena, didn't want to lose this new, vibrant life. One evening, as I looked in the mirror, I saw a different person, someone confident, admired, and happy. I realized that, while this life was nothing like I'd imagined, I had found something I hadn't even known I was missing. People cared about me, and I was no longer invisible. I never went back to the library to look for the spellbook. Maybe one day, I'll want to undo everything, return to my old self, my old life. But for now, I'm content. Because even though I didn't become the guy everyone looked up to, I became someone who was loved, respected, and popular. So that's my story, how I went from an invisible, lonely guy to the most popular girl in college. It was a journey of transformation, of discovering a part of myself I never knew existed. And who knows, maybe this is exactly who I was meant to be.